Welcome to Luxuries Daily Input. Top 10 most expensive games ever made in the world. Number 1 will shock you. Whether spent on development or marketing, these games ended up costing over $100 million each. It may not be something you think of too often, but making a game can be a pretty pricey endeavor. The bigger the project, the more resources are put into a game's development. That often ends up costing developers millions of dollars. With so much being spent on making these titles, you can start to understand just how much pressure there is to make a product that's going to sell. Luxuries Daily Input offers you the chance to take a look at the 10 most expensive games ever made in the world. So consider subscribing to our channel, that Luxuries Daily Input, and hit that bell icon so that you never miss any updates. Let's jump into the video. Number 10. Red Dead Redemption, $100 million. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a 2018 action-adventure game developed and published by Rockstar Games. The game is the third entry in the Red Dead series and is a prequel to the 2010 game Red Dead Redemption. Set in the Old West, Red Dead Redemption was Rockstar Games' way to prove that it was more than just the company that made Grand Theft Auto. The game took more than 6 years to develop and was delayed several times. According to the New York Times, it cost between $80 million and $100 million to produce. Number 9. Grand Theft Auto 4, $100 million. Speaking of Rockstar Games and Grand Theft Auto, at the time it came out in 2008, Grand Theft Auto 4 was the most expensive game ever produced. Its producer, Leslie Benzies, estimated it cost Rockstar around $100 million. Of course, he later said that was just a guess, so take it with a grain of salt. Within 24 hours, Grand Theft Auto 4 sold 3.6 million copies, shattering sales records. Number 8. Disney's Infinity, $100 million. Disney's video game unit was struggling, losing $1.4 billion between 2008 and 2013. The company decided to take a different approach to gaming. That's where Infinity comes in. Production of the games and accompanying toys cost the company around $100 million, according to the Wall Street Journal. But that's just a drop in the bucket compared to what Disney is expecting to make off of the game. The company told Reuters it expects revenues to reach $1 billion. Number 7. Max Payne 3, $105 million. Rockstar Games is back on the list, this time with Max Payne 3, which came out in 2012, although it was originally scheduled for a 2009 release. It had a weak debut, selling only 440,000 units in the first month. This missed analyst predictions that it needed to sell 4 million units in order to break even, since it cost $105 million to produce. A year after it was released, Max Payne 3 finally achieved that goal. Number 6. Destiny, $140 million. Here we get to add the company that brought Halo to us into this list. This Bungie title garnered quite a few comparisons to its spiritual predecessor when it came out back in 2014. Destiny received fairly positive reviews when it came out and intrigued many with its shared world multiplayer. Destiny, which came out in the fall, is one of the most expensive games ever made, $140 million. The price tag breaks down to $100 million for development costs, according to a leaked contract between Bungie and Activision, and the rest being marketing, distribution, royalties, etc. Number 5. Final Fantasy VII, $145 million. Though the game's recent remake is much more technologically advanced and graphically spectacular, the original Final Fantasy VII had a higher overall budget than its remake, which was about $80 to $100 million. Final Fantasy VII cost around $45 million to make and had a US marketing budget of around $100 million. The game came out in 1997, following a huge 3-month-long marketing campaign in the US that included TV and theatrical commercials, a holiday promotion with Pepsi, and print ads. Number 4. Star Wars: The Old Republic, $150 million to $200 million. At the time of its release in 2011, analysts pegged Star Wars: The Old Republic as being the most expensive video game ever produced. They predicted it cost BioWare between $150 and $200 million. The game costs $60, and players pay around $15 a month in subscription fees to play as Jedis and Siths. It got around 1 million subscribers within the first 3 days after it launched, making it the fastest-growing, massively multiplayer online role-playing game ever at the time. Enjoying our video? Subscribe to our channel, Luxuries Daily Input, because we bring these hot and interesting topics on the table regularly. Number 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, $200 million. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is a first-person shooter that was released in 2009. It's the 6th installment of the series and is the sequel to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Don't let the naming convention fool you. According to the LA Times, Call of Duty costs around $50 million to produce, but add to that marketing expenses as well as production and distribution costs, and the launch budget was around $200 million. Number 2. Grand Theft Auto 5, $137.5 million to $265 million. One of the biggest releases of this decade, it's no surprise seeing GTA 5 where it is on this list. Rockstar's moneymaker franchise certainly brings in a lot of cash for the developer, but anyone who's played GTA 5 will agree that it isn't a half-hearted effort. The estimates for how much Grand Theft Auto 5 costs to develop and market range from around $137 million all the way up to $265 million. The game won several Guinness World Records in 2013, including Best-Selling Action-Adventure Video Game in 24 hours, Best-Selling Video Game in 24 hours. It generated around $800 million in sales within the first day, and the first video game to gross $1 billion. Number 1. Cyberpunk 2077, $330 million. Cyberpunk 2077 is a 2020 action role-playing video game developed and published by CD Projekt. The story that takes place in Night City, an open world set in the Cyberpunk universe, players assume the first-person perspective of a customizable mercenary known as V, who can acquire skills in hacking and machinery with options for melee and ranged combat. The game cost an estimated 1.2 billion Polish to develop, making it one of the most expensive games ever made. The game entered pre-production with approximately 50 staff members after CD Projekt Red finished The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine. But sometimes real life is more beautiful than video games. So that's all for this video, guys. Let us know in the comments below which game will break the record of Cyberpunk. Also, if you're not subscribed to Luxuries Daily Input channel yet, then you are missing out. So do smash the subscribe button now and press the bell icon to get notified regularly. See you soon.